Good evening, Miss Shirley. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How's your arm?
It's hurting a lot since I just came from hospital. The doctors gave me a prescription, but I'm unable to afford it.
Okay. We can definitely work on getting that prescription filled for you. We do have funds here at the shelter to help you with things like that. Is there anything else that you need right now that I can help you with?
No, just because y'all helped me just to help me get my life back together and my kids is good enough.
Okay. Why don't we start with, could you give me a little background? How long has this abuse been going on?
It's been going on, I believe, about a few months after we got married.
Okay. And has the police ever been called?
Yes, a lot of times, and they'll just say a few words and they'll let him go, and he'll still do the same thing. The kids try to call him, I've called him, and they never really have done nothing to it about it.
Okay. So if I'm hearing you correctly, this has been going on for a while, since you guys have been married for 3 years. And the police has been called, but he's never been arrested for this, correct? Okay. And how does this make you feel every time that this happens? And it seems like it's a cycle. How does it make you feel?
It hurts me a lot because he's not just doing it for me, he's doing it for my children, and I don't want them to be scared of the father. But it hurts. I know it hurts me, but it hurts my kids more because I don't know how they get to see their father just beat up their mother like that. It's kind of hard for them, even more hard for me.
Okay. So you're worried about how it's affecting your children?
Yes.
Okay. Have they ever said anything to you about it?
They have told me we should leave and stuff, and I'll always make excuses about it, saying like, oh, it's gonna be better and stuff, and it never does.
Okay. How does he react after these episodes? Is he apologetic?
No. He just frustrating me more and more every day.
So this is a everyday event?
Yeah. And sometimes he goes to a club. He goes to a club a few times, and he gets drunk and he beats me up when he comes home.
Okay. So alcohol is playing a role in his rage?
Yes.
Okay. How often is he drinking?
A lot. He drinks from the kids and he smokes, so they smell in it. And one of my kids have asthma, which is so bad for them.
So that's definitely a health concern with your child having asthma and him smoking in the house.
And he knows it.
And you said that you don't have any family here in town?
No, all my family is in another state, and I can't get in contact with them.
So, who do you reach out to when you need to talk to someone?
My kids.
And that could definitely be detrimental. The kids knowing to people. So, do the kids feel comfortable coming to talk to you when these episodes happen, if they need to, vent?
Yes, they do. I listen to them a lot of times, and it's just hard because when I try to tell my husband about the kids' problem, he just don't really care about them.
So they don't vent to Dad, just
no, just me because they're scared that he might hit them.
Okay. And let me ask you this: do you feel like you're a single parent in a marriage?
Yes, because he don't help me take care of the kids. He don't do nothing. He don't take them to school. He don't give me the money to buy them clothes. Nothing. I'm just on my own. That's why we ran away.
Okay. So let me just offer you this, and let me explain to you. I am here as a resource. I'm not here to teach you how to be a parent. I'm not here to judge your parenting. I am just simply here to help you in any way that I can. So when I offer resources, you're very welcome to deny them if you want. It's just an option where I see that you might need some help. Okay? Have you ever explored the option of counseling for not only yourself but also the kids?
Well, I think so. The kids talk to the school counselors, and the counselor talks to me, But I think what you're trying to say is for my husband.
Um, well, right now I'm focusing just on the kids because something like this could have a lasting effect. You know, and what we don't want is for the behavior to repeat. So I'm thinking a little bit of intervention from a professional. You know, they might feel a little bit more comfortable talking to someone who is outside of the situation. You know, just to make sure that this isn't leaving a long-term effect on you.
Yeah, and I would like to see who else are they comfortable talking to except me, because I want them to be open to not just strangers, but the people they're close to and school staff.
So we'll work on that. You mind if I jot that down? Okay. So we'll work on that. We'll work on trying to bring in some counselors and some intervention for the kids so that they can have someone to talk to. I know that sometimes it can be hard for kids to express themselves to their mom because they care so much. And even dad, if he was open to talking to them because they care so much about him too. So we'll get that in the works. So let me just get a bit of clarification on your situation so that I make sure that I'm assessing it correctly. Your husband is the only one that works in the house, correct? Okay. Are you open to working or?
Yes.
Okay.
Like while they go to school, I'll work and.
Okay. And he gives you an allowance. He gives you a set amount of money every week out of his paycheck.
Somewhat. Sometimes he don't give it to me every week.
So how are you caring for your basic needs? And when I say that, I mean things like your toiletries and clothes and things like that. How are you caring for yourself?
I have to sometimes take it out of his bank account without him knowing, or we have to just find a shelter to just spend the night, or take some of his stuff that he has.
Okay. So we definitely want to make sure that from here on, whether it's you living back in the house with him or you living on your own, that you're able to care for yourself. You're able to get the basic needs without having to depend on him. So if you're open to working, then we can try to get some, work ready programs together for you so that you can be employed. Now, would he be against that or?
My husband? I'm not sure because I don't really talk to him. I get scared when I talk to him because I'm scared he's going to hit me. So I'm not knowing for sure.
Okay. Well, we'll just explore the option. We don't say anything in concrete. Just let you see what's out there, see what you're interested in, and if you find something and it works for you, then great. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Also, the kids, they're in school, and you said that they spoke with a school counselor before about this.
Yeah, they spoke with a school counselor and teachers, and they have called me, contacted me.
Did they also call your husband?
No, the kids told them not to call their husband because they told them why, so they never contacted him.
So do you believe that they are afraid of him?
Yes, because they've seen him hit me multiple times, and so they get scared that he's going to hit them a little bit like he hit me.
Okay. I'm definitely going to try to follow up with the school counselor just so I can get some notation, some background, if that's okay with you, just so I can find out exactly what happened. Because what concerns me is that this went all the way to the school, and the school was called in, and there's still nothing on paper with the police department. That should have been something that was reported, even though I understand that you don't want to report it because you don't want to feel the wrath of your husband. The school should have reported something like that. And in these situations, we always need a paper trail. Always. We always need documentation and we need history to know what happened. Because now we're here 3 years later and you've been going through this and we have nothing to look at in the past. So, even if you choose not to bring in the police, you can always still go to the hospital like we did tonight to be treated and it's not mandated that you have to call the police, but at least we have it on record that you've been to the hospital. Okay? Okay. So, I do want to let you know that I am a mandated reporter, and pretty much that means that if you're telling me that you've been abused or that he's abusing your kids, I have to report it. So although you don't want to report it to the police, by law I have to. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, I want him to go to jail. It's just, I wonder if he gets out, what's he going to do?
Right. And that is my biggest concern, is the safety of you and your kids. This shelter is unlisted, so he won't find it. Even you can stay up here up to a month, but even after that, we'll find you somewhere else to go.
So that he won't know?
That he won't know. The only way that he will know is if you choose to give him that address. Okay. But I also want to just kind of bring to your attention some things that I've heard when you were talking. It's very, I don't want the children, this to be a lasting effect on the children. And it really concerns me that you say that you talk to the children, you know, in detail about what happens and what goes on. And even that this happens in front of the children, and I completely understand that a lot of times you can't control that. That's just how it is. But as much as you can control it, I would love to see that the children don't know as much in detail, because it can really hurt them. As you can see now, they're going through it with you, so it's not just you're in an abusive relationship, you and your kids are in an abusive relationship. Has he ever hit the kids?
Yes. Not just because they're in trouble, he just hits them. When he comes home drunk, like he'll hit me first, and then he'll go to the kitchen and wake them up and beat them down.
Okay. And this has never been reported either?
No, ma'am.
Okay. That does concern me, and we do want to get to the point where the kids aren't in danger. That deeply concerns me. If you don't mind, I'm going to jot something down here. But that deeply concerns me, that the kids are also in danger. So let's start talking about where we go from here. What are your goals and your plans in life?
Well, to have a better life than we used to have, to be able for the kids to come home and not be scared. They can go to school, and I mean, it's good to talk to the counselor, but not talk to the counselor about their dad anymore.
Okay. So, if I hear you correctly, at this point, you just want to get to a point where your children are safe and you are safe. Would you be interested in couples counseling, or are you ready to part ways with your husband completely?
Yes, part ways.
You want to part ways? Okay. So, we would have to get you a means of making an income so that you can support you and your children. You live in Lincoln Heights, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a very affluent neighborhood from my knowledge, and that style of living might have to change for a while. Yeah. Do you have a degree?
Yes.
Okay, so we can definitely get you working on a resume. Do you have that?
No.
Okay, we have some career counselors here. We can get you set up with one as early as tomorrow, so that you can start working on your resume, so we can start submitting your resume and seeing what we hear back. We're definitely going to jump right into counseling for the children. Are you interested in any counseling?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll work on the counseling with you also. We also might need to put a restraining order in place. Are you okay with that? Or?
Yes, I like that very much.
Okay, so let's talk about the children and their father's relationship. How do you feel about that? How do you feel, I'm sorry, let me rephrase my question. What do you feel like that should go from here on? Do you want him to be in their lives? Is that something that you want only supervision? Do you feel like they need space. Just as a mother, where do you feel like this should go?
Well, I feel like they need space for now, just to rethink about stuff, how to get everything back to normal. And I would like them to have a connection with their father with supervised vision, because I don't know what could happen. I'm hoping that he will not really change all the way, but be change enough so his kids won't be scared to be with him alone or with supervised people.
Okay. So you're open to them having a relationship, just not now.
Yeah,
Later
later on.
some space. And I think definitely after the children get into some counseling and they're able to openly talk about their feelings, they'll probably be a lot easier then, as well. So we're gonna work on that, and I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about us reaching out to your husband? He won't know that you're here. He won't know that we're from a group home, but the court has a domestic violence program, and we work in partnership with them, and they can reach out to him and offer him some counseling and some therapy, things like that, just so that if he's willing to change, if he wants to accept it, then he can, and possibly at least he can have a healthy relationship with his children.
I would like that for him to have separate counseling, and then later on have together counseling.
Exactly. Okay. That's something that can definitely be done. That's something that can definitely be done. It would work a lot better with you working on yourself and him working on himself, because a lot of times what we find with domestic violence cases is it's not you that's making him upset. It's something else that's completely outside of you, the marriage, the home, and everything. It's something he probably needs to deal with. Do you know about any past family violence in his family?
Well, I know his father was abusive. When he was young, he was abusive to him and his sisters, and he was abusive to his mom. So I think he's following in his father's footsteps, but he don't want to. But it's like an instinct.
Right. And unfortunately, that's what we see. It's a cycle. Domestic violence happens in cycles, and that's exactly what we want to try to prevent from happening to your kids. We want to intervene early so that this cycle stops here. So Shirley, if you don't mind, just tell me a little bit about your family history.
Well, my family is not that bad. I come from a married mother, father, 3 siblings, which is 2 sisters, 1 brother. I don't come from any abusive side, so from him abusing me, it's kind of new for me. But I heard a lot of stories. I heard a lot of stories here about the TV shows about abusive father to a woman. It's just I never thought I'd witness it.
So, you grew up in a home where there wasn't any abuse?
No, there was like arguing and stuff, but it never got to that bad, to physical altercations.
Have you ever been in another abusive relationship?
No. I've been in relationships where I've argued, but we have never been in domestic violence, property, that kind of stuff.
So let me ask you this. This has been going on for approximately 3 years, you said a couple of months after you got married. There wasn't any signs before you got married that he was abusive?
No, actually. I believe once we got married, he thinks he can hurt me, and when I leave, he gets on my money.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What has delayed you leaving?
I just got tired of it, because he abused me in front of the children, but when I really got tired of, he abused me and my children at the same time. That time I was done.
Let me rephrase the question. What I mean is, you've been dealing with this for 3 years now, and you're just now leaving. What made you stay for so long?
I got scared because what if I went to a shelter, he'd probably find me again. And I was researching for about a few months until I found this one, and he never heard of it.
Okay. So it's fear that kept you from leaving. The fear of what he would do once you left. And have you ever went to his family's house? Because if I remember, you said that his family lives in town.
Yes.
So have you ever reached out to his family at all?
I have a lot, but it's just neutral. It's nothing like in depth with it. Like his family seems nice, but what he told me about his background, it sees people in a whole different way. So he still keeps in contact with them, but we don't go over there a lot.
And let me ask you this: what happened this time that was different that made you leave? What was the straw that broke the camel's back, to say?
Well, he have hit me. I have got bruises that have went away. But I think if you make me have a disability, like my arm broken.
Okay, so it's the broken limb.
Yes, well, I have broken my ankle before, but I've seen him abuse my kids in front of my face, and I was done because I was wondering how could you do that in front of my face, and he did the same thing back when he was doing my kids.
Well, I want to commend you for having the courage to leave. It takes a lot, and I understand that it takes a lot to get up and leave your husband, someone that you truly care for. But I also see that you're a great mother because, excuse me, you were able to put your kids' needs before your own desires, and to me that makes a wonderful mother. So I just want to commend you and let you know that you're doing the right thing. And I know that it may seem hard, and this is not an easy process. I don't tell any of my clients that this is an easy process because it isn't. It takes a lot, but that first step, that first initial leaving, it takes a lot of courage to do that, and you should be commended for that. You truly should. I just want to go over a bit the rules while you're here at the shelter. We have just a couple of ground rules just to keep everything peaceful, of that sort. While you're here, you and your kids will be in a room. The room has a door on it and it has a lock on it. You're very welcome to lock it. The only people that have a key to that room is the director. So no one will come in and bother you if the door is locked, unless it's an emergency and you need to evacuate or something like that, if it's a safety concern. We do have chores, and your name will start to circulate on the chores list in 2 days. We do want to give you time to get into the shelter and get comfortable and get your kids accustomed to it, because this is a big change for them also. But we do have rules. Also, we do have a curfew here. We need everyone back into the shelter by 8 o'clock. Would that be an issue?
No.
Okay. It's just not because we want to treat you guys like your kids. We don't. It's a safety issue. And we want to make sure that our main goal is to make sure that you guys are safe at all times. So if you're here by 8 o'clock, then it's before it gets dark, and it'll just alleviate a lot of the safety concerns that can happen later on at night, because the statistics show that violence happens more frequently at night. Also, you're not allowed to give out this address under no circumstances. None. The police know this address. They're about the only ones that know this address because it isn't listed in the phone book or in the city directory. So if it was an emergency where you had to call the fire department or the police department, if you just give them the name of the shelter, they know where it is. You don't have to give them the address. Your kids are expected to go to school every day. We do not allow students to stay in the shelter during school hours under no circumstances. If they're sick, then we expect them to be at the hospital. Besides that, they're not allowed here at all. We do a lot of our intake during the daytime, so it's a lot of traffic in and out of the shelter during the daytime. And we believe in education here. and we just don't believe in children staying here. Will that be a problem?
No.
Okay. Will any of those rules be a problem for you?
No, I just have one question.
Mm-hmm.
If they're sick, not hospitalized, if they're like, they really can't talk, and it's not a reason to go to the hospital, could they stay home?
They can't. We don't allow children here between the hours of 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. This is a no-child zone during that time. So if it's, and the hospital knows this rule, so if the child is sick and they need to go to the hospital, then they'll have to stay there until 2 o'clock. I know it can be an inconvenience at times, but it's one of the rules that the shelter has, and I abide by it as well as the clients that are here that have to abide by it. It's usually not a problem though. A lot of times we see that when kids say they're sick, they just have a cough that they can get some cough syrup and they'll go to school and they'll be okay. And if it's more than that, then a doctor needs to look at them anyway, just to make sure it's not doing okay.
What about like broken limbs and stuff?
Then we expect them to be at the hospital. And once they get a cast on, then to go to school. So, what we're going to start with initially tomorrow is getting the counseling installed for the children first. I'm going to call around and see if we have any available appointments for tomorrow so that they can start immediately, because I do think that's the most important thing right now. And then we'll start looking for you some counseling within the week so that you can start within the week. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. And after that, we're going to get you set up with the career counselor so that you can start getting your resume together. We can start applying to jobs and see if we can find you somewhere to work so that you can make a means for yourself. We're also going to work on within the week reaching out to the program at the court, as I mentioned before, who works with males that are involved in domestic violence cases, so that we can get your husband some counseling and things of that nature, so that later on down the line we can get you guys into counseling together, even if it's not to restore the relationship, but to make sure that he can still have a relationship with his children, a healthy, safe relationship with his children. Once we get that done, we do want to start getting ready to move you out of the shelter. Because like I said, this is temporary. It's only for a month. So we want to look for some affordable housing for you and your kids, something that you won't struggle to maintain every month. So does everything sound good so far?
Perfect.
Okay. And is there anything that you would need my help with right now? Is there anything that you need to say that you didn't get to say? Is there any questions that you have about this process? About my role in this process? Anything?
Actually, yes. Will this shelter like put a lot of pressure on us or give us time to adapt to it?
We're not going to be in your face 24/7 every day, but our role here is to offer resources to help you get back to a stable point in your life, a safe, stable point in your life. So I'll meet with you about 3-4 times a week just to make sure that things are going okay, just to make sure that if you need anything, I'll play the middleman between you and the other outside resources or even in-house resources. I'm the middleman for that. So I'll meet with you just to make sure everything's okay, everything is still progressing. If at any time you want to drop out of this program, you can. You don't have to be here. It's not mandatory. So you would just come talk to me and let me know. Our biggest concern is just your safety.
I have another question. When you say you're going to move us out of the city where we're from, what does that mean? Like, you're going to move us to another state, or like?
Our goal isn't to move you out of town or out of state. It's to move somewhere safe. So if you believe that out of state is safe, then we'll look into that. If you believe that out of town is safe, we'll look into that. If you want to stay in your own comfort zone and you believe that you and your family are safe here, then we'll look into places for you to move here. We just want you to know that you're in control of this and we're working for you. We don't want you to feel like we're telling you to do this. We're steering you here, steering you there, because that's not the case. You are in control, and we're working for you. We're a resource for you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let you leave so that you can get to your babies, and y'all can get y'all a good, peaceful night's sleep. In the morning, if you need, we'll probably need help getting them to school. So I'll see you guys in the morning, and I'll touch base with you by tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, Miss Shirley. Good night. Thank you for coming in.
Good night.